Hey everyone, this is Pedro here. I come to you today again to show you my DAX trades during the London session, but also some stocks trades during the open of the US session. So let's start with DAX during the London session. And the first thing I want to show you is that DAX started since the broker opened Sunday night or Monday morning. That it closed here after a very strong close on Friday. It didn't break through this level and it started just dropping. And this was actually the high of the day. And it was a strong resistance to look for after the London Open. And when London opened, the price was, let me increase this. When London opened, the you can see here the volume increasing. It was this big green candle here. The price was heading to the high of the day, exactly where it had this big rejection right when the broker opened this Sunday night. This was a strong reversal point that we had to be careful with. So this starting candle was not one of my favorites. It had a wick at the top. It had another wick at the bottom. I prefer to see them when they have a close, very strong close with no rejections at the top. For me, it would be much more clear to buy and wait for the price to make another leg to the upside. This didn't happen, but after this candle closed, and again we had another candle with a wick at the top, that didn't inspire me confidence to take any trade. But after this wicked candle, the price made a kind of pullback to this 8 moving average, which is the fastest moving average that I take. And here it was a good opportunity to take a trade. This candle closed strongly to the upside. It removed these wicks here. It deleted these wicks. And the break of the high of this candle could be a good entry point to go long. And of course, be careful with this resistance because the price could turn back to the downside. And that was actually what happened. After the price hit this resistance, it immediately made a red drop, a big red drop to the downside. And when you see big drops like this, big reds, eliminating the last big green candle, this is a sign to be careful not to take the next pullback to the upside. So this pullback, it was a pullback that it would be very likely to fail because we were fighting this big amount of red here. And it also happened at a previous resistance, so it was more likely for the price to make a bigger drop. And it was actually what happened. It made here a kind of a double top. The price first rejected there at that resistance, then it tried to make another move to the upside, which failed, and here it could be a good place to short. This candle here touched the 8 moving average for the second time after this, and when the price broke the low of this candle, this could be a good counter trend trade to take. And our target could be here the 20 moving average, which is another support for the price. And then we see something similar again. The price tries to go up, it hits this 8 moving average that now works as a resistance and not as a support. It rejects completely to the downside. And as the price breaks the low of this previous candle, this is a good opportunity to short here. The price breaks this low, we can hit our sell button, and this is a good opportunity to short and then target here the 200 moving average, which is another moving average that I use. I don't use it to follow trends, but I use it just as a support or resistance, depending if it's above or below the price. And you can see that there were a lot of good plays here. Just the first 30 minutes of the London Open. After this, the price tends to start slowing down, and we need to be more careful with what we do. I was not trading here during the exact open. I only arrived a little bit later. And when I arrived, the price was here kind of choppy and sideways. You can see here that was moving up and down, moving up and down. And I didn't like the price action. And there was a moving average from the H1 time frame here that was holding the price. So I didn't like this price action, so I preferred to wait for a move to the upside, and that opportunity appeared a little bit later, exactly here. And you can see that the 20 moving average started to go up and crossed the 200 moving average to the upside. The 8 moving average was also very close to the 20, and the price was taking off from all these 3 moving averages. We have the 8 here, we have the 20, we have the 200, and this is a good point when we see the price starting to take off and all the moving average very close to each other. This is a good point to take a trade, and this is exactly what I did. I waited for the price to break the up of this red candle, and that's where I hit my buy button. And then I just waited for the price to make a break of the previous high. And after the break of the previous high, I started trailing my stop loss so that I could try to squeeze the most out of this move, and my trade ended up closing here. Although the price kept going up, but my trade closed here. But it was a nice trade. I got 11 points, and my minimum profit on DAX when I traded it's 10 points. So I got 10% more than my minimum profit, and that's already very good. And this was my trade today. And the price just kept going up, and you can see that there was a lot of other opportunities. Here we had another good opportunity to buy after this pullback to this 8 moving average. Here we had another good opportunity to buy after this pullback here, this small pullback to the 8 moving average. Here we had another pullback to buy. The price came to the moving average and we could hit our buy button there again. Here another opportunity, here another opportunity, and this was a good trend to trade. The price was taking off from these 3 moving averages, the 8, the 20 and the 200 that were very close to each other, and started an uptrend. And every pullback after this is a buyable event. When you see red candle being deleted by green, it's an opportunity to buy. When you see a red candle being deleted by green, it's an opportunity to buy. When you see red candle being deleted by green, it's an opportunity to buy. And your targets are always above the previous high. You try to squeeze the most out of the trade. This is the best way to trade, and the way that I prefer to trade, to scalp the markets. I don't need a lot of trades. One trade per day is enough for me. I rarely take more than one trade. I just make my quick profits. I enter, I exit quickly. I just risk a small amount and then try to catch a bigger run, a bigger amount of what I'm risking. And with this risk reward, this strategy works very well. And you can see all the opportunities that appeared during this uptrend. Opportunities buy. And this is the 2-minute time frame, guys. This is the M2. So each candle that you see here represents 2 minutes of price action. So you enter a trade and after 2 or 3 minutes you are out. This is the best way to trade, at least for me. I like to get in and out very quickly, make my profits very quickly, and my day trading is done. And I was not the only one profitable. You can see that the members of my trading family in my Discord room also took some good trades. Here 10.9 points from a sell coming from the 220 moving average. Here it was my trade. Here it was another trade that someone took, that it was very similar, and it was actually at the same time that I took my trade, and he opened his trade here and it closed here on the 200 moving average. This trade was on FTSE, it's the UK index, and it's also a good index to trade. I prefer to trade DAX personally, but there are a lot of other indices that you can trade. But DAX and the FTSE are European indices, and during the London session, they usually tend to move better than the US indices. And when the US market opens, then we can also trade Nasdaq, we can trade Dow Jones, we can trade S&P 500, and we can trade the stock market, which is another market that I really love to trade. And some more trades that my family took. You can see here 51 points shorting Dow Jones. You can see here another one shorting, no, in this case it was buying Nasdaq, 31 points of profit. I love when I see everyone profitable and when we have all these great days. We are a great community that helps each other, and you are invited to join if you want. But my trades didn't end up here. I also took some trades during the United States Open, but I traded stocks, not indices. And I took some trades on the ones that were on the top 3 of my watch list. The first one was this one, HGEN, and I traded on the 2-minute time frame right at the open of the US market. And this stock, it opened with let me just increase here the zoom. You can see that it opened with a gap since the Friday close, and it opened right here. And this first candle, it first tried to go up and it rejected the upside, and it closed right here as a solid candle at this bottom. And this, for me, it was a good opportunity to short. So what did I do? When the price broke the low of this candle, I shorted the stock here, and my target was this 8 moving average that you see here. And as this 8 moving average goes up very quickly, I was aiming to close my trade when the price touched the 8 moving average, because this is a place where the price can react and feel this support and turn the trend to the upside, which was actually what happened. So I just took a quick shot here, I shorted, and I closed my trade exactly at the 8 moving average. This was my first trade and the only trade that I took on HGEN, but I took some other trades on 2 other stocks that I'm going to show you now. And one of them, it was Fly, FLY. And you can see that this stock also opened with a big gap to the upside. On Friday it closed around 30 point something dollars, and it opened here around 16.5 or a little bit above. So when I see a big gap like this, I usually look for a sell-off on the price. So I tend to short stocks when we have a very big gap. And I tried to short this stock. I'm just going to increase this so that we can see it better. I tried to short this stock, but it wasn't not moving very much. You can see that it opened here. It was around 1670. It came as low as 16.5 and then it turned to the upside. But the movements were not very big, just a few cents per movement, and it needed a lot of candles to move. This is where I took my trade. I shorted Fly right here. At this candle, I hit my sell button, and my target was this 8 moving average that it was actually moving very quickly to the upside. But the price was not moving. I was expecting it to make some bigger moves, some bigger candles, and give me at some point a good profit when it hit the 8 moving average, but that didn't happen. The price just kept going a bit sideways, but not moving from the same place. And when it got here at the 8 moving average, I just closed my trade. I didn't like the price action. It was moving very slowly, so I just got out of this when it touched the 8 moving average. I still had a profit, but it was a small profit, almost a break even. This almost didn't move, but I'm fine with that. So I just closed this trade here and I didn't touch it anymore. Then we have the third stock that I traded, which was HMHC. This was another stock that it was gapping up, but this one I didn't short, I went long. First I saw this red candle, but it had a big wick at the bottom, so there was a big rejection here. I didn't like to short this, and there was actually no setup to short. So I waited to see the price action and I entered my trade here when this red candle was eliminated by green. I bought the stock there and I just let it run and make another leg to the upside, and I closed around the close of this last green candle. And this was my first trade on this stock. But then I tried to take another trade. The price tried to make a new high, but it failed. It reached this zone and it completely failed to break the previous high and rejected, and it left kind of a strong red bar to the downside. But I was still thinking in going long, although I know that I shouldn't go against these fat red bars, and with wicks at the top, I still tried to go long. At this point, I was starting to look at the 5 minute time frame instead of the 2 minute, because after the first 30 minutes or so, you can see that the price starts to move very slowly. The candles are much smaller than the candles that you see during the open, during the first 30 minutes or so. So at this point, I started to look at the 5 minute time frame, and that's where I decided to take a trade. And I'll show you why. Let me show the 5 minute time frame. So on the 5 minutes, the price was trying to make a pullback here on the 8 moving average, and that's where I tried to buy this again. I actually anticipated a little bit my entry. My entry should be after the break of this pin bar that we see here previously, but the price didn't break it. It went exactly to the same price, the high of this candle, it was the same high of this one. So it didn't break, but I anticipated a little bit and the price just came back to me, and at some point I just decided to close my trade. So I lost this size, I lost this green candle. But again, even in this 5 minute time frame, this was not looking very good to go up. You can see here a lot of wicks, a lot of rejection from that top. It was, I shouldn't have taken this trade. I ended up taking it and having a loss on it, but I shouldn't have taken it. I closed it when the price was very close to this bottom here and I had a loss. But then the price, it came to the downside of the 8 moving average, and I saw that it had plenty of room to keep going down, and that's when I decided to take a third trade. And where was my third trade? It was when this red candle, it broke the previous low of this previous green candle. The low of this green candle was broken, and this was where I shorted, and I just let the price go down, 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 and I close it here right at the 20 moving average, because as you saw in other examples, this works as a support and this could throw the price to the upside again. In this case it broke and it continued to go down, but this is where I close my trade. So trading HMHC, I had one profitable trade when I went long right at the open. Then I tried to buy again, which failed and I had a loss. And then I had another trade where I shorted and I was able to recover this loss. So my trades today, I had one profitable trade trading HGEN. I had one more or less break even trading Fly. It had some small profit but not very big. Then I had another winning trade here on HMHC. I had one losing trade on HMHC, and then I had another winning trade where I recovered this loss. So on the overall, I had three winning trades. I had one losing trade, so I ended up with two winning trades, which was very good for this morning trading the open of the US session. Guys, you can see that the way that I trade is really simple. It's very simple. It's just a game of colors. When we are on an uptrend, we enter when a red candle is eliminated by a green candle. When we are on a downtrend, we enter when a green candle is deleted by a red candle, and then just let the price go and make a new low when we are going to the downside, or wait for the price to make a new high when we are going to the upside, when we are buying, when we are long. And this is very simple way of trading. If you want to join my team, if you want to learn more about how I trade, I have a free trading course in my website you can take. It's a 6-day free trading course. And if you identify with this kind of trading, you can apply and you can join my Discord trading room, where we are every day together trading the London session, the open of the London session, and throughout the rest of the morning of the London session. And then we also trade the open of the US sessions. We trade futures, indices, stocks. And if you identify with this kind of trading, you can apply and you can join whenever you want. So I hope you liked this video, guys. I hope this information will help you to take good trades in the future, and I hope that you got a lot of value from this lesson. And if you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit that notification button, and see you on the next video, guys. Bye bye.